Do you have anything on your heart you'd like to share? Or
At the end, I might have a little spiritual something I want to bless everybody, these listeners.
Okay. Chris, these videos are precious and informative. Granddaddy's faith is so prominent. Could you ask him what they considered as luxurious item back then in the day? What would you consider a luxurious item when you were young?
Item?
Your boy.
Well, back in the Depression days now, if I got an ice cream cone, that was a good day. Haircuts was 20 cents. If I got a quarter, that gave me a nickel. You could buy a big ice cream cone, a big bar of candy, nickel. The nickel was the most popular coin every minute. And man, if I got a nickel, that was a big day to buy anything. You'd be surprised what you could buy for a nickel.
You told me one time bacon was a treat. Didn't have much bacon.
Well, no bacon around our house. We eat dry salt, pork.
Salt pork.
Yeah, and it was salty too. You had to boil it, then fry it. Yeah.
What would he suggest, based on his experience, for people who live in the city and do not have plots of land they can use for gardening? Did the middle class have just as much hardship as the lower class? Let's cover the gardening one first. What do you reckon people can do in the city? Because you said you made it pretty good on the farm before you moved to the city.
Yeah, but it wasn't nothing in the town. Nowadays, this dry canning I was talking about, people need to be doing that. They can keep that for years. That's rice and oatmeal, and grits and flour and cornmeal. They could all be dry canned and kept for years.
Yeah, 25, 30 years for sure.
That is a smart, and a lot of people doing that. Because it could get this bad again, but I pray not. But it could be. It could be terrible.
I can make a video on how to do it, but I can tell you how to do it pretty quick. You just put whatever you want to in a jar and cook it at 200 degrees for about an hour and 20 minutes. Just get the moisture out of it, and that's about it. You can go, there's plenty of YouTube videos on how to dry can. There's no sense in me doing one. Go check it out. That's one thing that we can all do.
Yeah.
And it'll last forever. And another it's a good thing. If somebody comes to your house and they're in need, it's going to be real hard just to turn people away with nothing.
That's right.
But you can't just bring them in either, because you're going to have enough for you and your family.
Yeah.
So a suggestion would be hand them a little bag with the dry can of rice and, a little to-go bag.
Yeah.
That way you're not turning them away empty-handed. And, just be honest with them. Say, hey, I'm having to provide for my family as well, but this will get you through, the next few days. It's a.
Yeah, it's good thinking.
Yeah, that would be something good, because when this thing, I really hate to talk like that, but if it keeps going the way it's going, we're going to be looking that right in the face.
That's right.
I got another one for you. Oh yeah, did the middle class have just as much hardship as the lower class?
I don't know whether we was considered more middle class or not. I don't think so. But I thought about, we lived over there out of McGee, and there's a lot of folks farming sharecroppers, and a lot of them was colored. Now, if the white folks had that much trouble, you can imagine what the blacks had. They had it rough. Sharecropping, moving from, they may farm this land here and move over there another 20 miles and start another place, trying to do better. But they had it rough now, I'm going to tell you. All they had is something to eat. They didn't, no money.
They had to give a portion of that to the landowner usually.
Oh yeah, sharecropping, that's.
It didn't work out for anybody but the landowner.
Well, that's true.
Bill Gates is the #1 landowner in Louisiana now.
Yeah, he's got thousands, but he's not planting anything. I don't know what he's doing. Well,
yeah, I don't know what he's up to either.
Yeah, that's right. But it was rough, though.
I don't trust him.
Those sharecroppers. I knew some people as sharecroppers, and I've seen of course, they know how to base and how to bound. I knew them I knew some that sharecropped, and that was hard.
Grandmother lived right next to some colored folks and said that
Yeah,
they suffered right along together.
Oh yeah, there wasn't no money, cash money,
Uh-uh.
just whatever they could raise.
Can you ask him if the hardships he endured made his family and friends closer and more helpful? And if yes, did he feel the depression was worth it? I don't know about that.
Depression ain't worth it or nothing, but it did make a fellow more thrifty now. That's what I was telling you about these old railroad men. They worked every day they could, and changed their birthdays. They worked. They didn't lay off. They was looking for another depression. They didn't have no other interest in life other than trying to make some money. They wasn't fishing, they hunting, nothing like that. They worked all the time, like starved the rest of us to death on that extra board. But they didn't want to lay off.
I can imagine.
Had to force them off.
What services were profitable? Shoe repair, landscaping. What was the barter situation like? I don't guess you did much bartering, except with cash.
That's about all.
Coins, a nickel.
No, no cash.
What services were profitable? What? I don't know about that. I have to think about that.
Yeah.
What was the going job? If you had a job here, was the best? What?
If you had enough seniority to hold a job like my Uncle Roy, he worked on the rip tracking for Missouri Pacific. Well, he'd been there a long time, and he managed to hold on during the Depression. Well, they lived pretty good. I don't know what kind of salary he made, not much, but everything was cheap. And that's why my daddy wanted to go to McGee, but it didn't work out. He didn't have any skills. And the WPA built a lot of stuff, but what he got into was the road work. He didn't get into building buildings. They built a lot of buildings, WPA did back then. That's the only government thing that they had CC camps finally, but they didn't.
CC camp.
Yeah, they built roads around different, there's one right out here. They built back here.
So there's a lot of infrastructure. That's what was.
Yeah,
that's what was going.
Slips and mules and build dirt up there, and that's where they build cleared right of ways. That's what they done.
What form of entertainment did they use? What? Probably radio, I would imagine.
Well, we had a radio finally, battery.
Oh, what did you do before then?
You went to community singings, church singings, stuff. That's all it was. There wasn't no entertainment. No, there wasn't nobody entertaining.
Just work.
That's all. He's trying to live. That's all.
Sounds brutal. Well, that air conditioner. Is there anything he really wanted but couldn't get during that time? What 5 essential items does every human need for this upcoming event? Just a few questions off the top of my head. Anything you really wanted that you couldn't get?
I wanted a lot of things. I got none of them. Yeah, I'd like to have a BB gun. I could think of lots of things I'd like. But we built whatever we had played with. We'd build log trucks, get out there and saw us off wheels, me and my brothers. Take a tree and cut us off some wheels, bore a hole. Well, we burned a hole through there, drill. Burned a hole through there and put an axle on there and push them. Cut us up some wood, logs to haul.
Sure.
That's all we knew. Go swimming. Entertained ourselves.
Yeah, it doesn't take much to entertain a kid.
No, it don't. It really don't.
How did the family unit stay together during so much strife? A lot of my friends have divorced since the pandemic. I don't see it getting any easier on families. Many are fracturing.
Well, they had to stick together. There wasn't no place for them. They couldn't go back to their families. They was the same.
So even if they had hardship between each other, they just stuck it out.
That's right. There wasn't a lot of stealing either. People didn't steal from one another. Everybody was poor, and it wasn't thieving like it is now. No.
Yeah, it's a lot different back then than it was now. The morals were different.
Yeah, they didn't do no stealing. Yes.
His thoughts on today's youth. Also being tips on healthy eating and exercise. He can't wait. All right, so you do a lot of fasting, don't you?
Not anymore, but I don't have the appetite I used to have. That's what's about it. I don't have the appetite.
Well, you got any tips for, because you're getting around good, Granddad. You're 93, and he works all the time.
Well, I worked used to, but I wish I'd have started, took better care of myself in a lot of ways. But it wasn't nothing.
What do you wish you would have done?
Well, I wish would have eaten better, and probably I'd gained a lot of weight one time, but
I remember that.
Yeah, but I'm now bound where I ought to be now, and I was working real good till I messed up my back. I never got tired. I'd mow all day long or nearly, and jump on the tractor and haul dirt and do whatever, pick up limbs. But
pick up sticks. That was a big thing around here. He's got a big old yard. I don't know. You got 10 acres here, or better.
Yeah, better.
And there's a lot of sticks that hit the ground. It used to be $5 to pick up sticks when I was little. But, let's see. His thoughts on today's youth. Also, his thoughts on today's youth. What is your thoughts on today's youth?
Well, I know a few that's spoiled, but I think these drugs is killing a lot of people right now. That's coming in from Mexico, coming in from China, and through Mexico, and I feel for these kids that's taking that fentanyl. They don't know it, but it's killing them.
The fentanyl, yeah, it must be some lethal stuff.
It grieves my heart.
Yeah, it's a super cheap drug from China.
Yeah.
And there's enough here to kill everybody in the U.S., I believe.
4 times, they say, or more. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what else to say about that. I have many friends who work for the government, and I do not. They often tell me that it is the only true secure thing. Were there any problems with their job market at any point during the Great Depression years? I think they have a false sense of security.
There's not any secure jobs, I don't think. I think the Lord's going to bless and take care of His own, but that's no guarantee of winning anything. Except the guarantees God makes us and living for Him, and He's going to take care of us. And that's the only thing for sure that we've got.
Mm-hmm. That's right. What food was common? What did they dig, drill wells, and septic? How did they dig, drill wells, and septic?
Dig wells?
How did they dig / drill wells and septic? I guess with a shovel. How'd you dig a well?
Yeah, well, you could dig them. You could dig a dug well, all right, but it was a slow go.
Surely they had a...
Well, they had augers, all right, but a lot of people in the country, they dug them with a shovel.
Whew.
Put on a casing, like that down at the old Grafton house. Yeah,
my grandmother had a
dug with a shovel.
Well, I guess the water table's about 40 foot down, maybe.
Varied, but it
wasn't that deep.
I never will forget though, them old open wells there. I don't know when we all got a lot of diseases. Ruby's, Chuck and Gerald's goat fell in that well down there. They had to dig it out, to get the goat out. We carried him down there to give him, Dr. Harper to give him to us. Got that goat out of the well. He was walking the curb and fell in. Well, I never did know what happened to that goat after that. They had to draw all the water out and get the goat out. But
tacos.
That's 56, long time back.
What food was common?
What food? Well, you're going to have hog meat. Everybody said hogs. And then you're going to have turkey greens, cornbread, sweet potatoes, Irish potatoes. Whatever you could raise.
Yeah, that's every story I hear, the people that made it out okay were the people that lived on some land that could grow what they needed. Mm-hmm. And if you don't live on land, like he said, dry canned rice, beans, you know, and you can vacuum seal that stuff. That's mainly what a lot of people do. That's what we do is you can vacuum it up and replace it on the back, eat it off the front, use the same bag that you vacuum sealed the first one, and you can reuse those bags, put your new rice, beans, whatever, and then vacuum seal that up and put it on the back.
You can order that stuff, beans and stuff, real reasonable, and rice and stuff. That's a very good deal.
Yeah.
And now's the time to do it too.
Who was the richest person in town, and who was the poorest, and what were their occupations before and during the Depression?
Well, Charlie Murphy was a millionaire in 1928, so he was probably one of the richest. And he owned Murphy Corporation. And the poorest could have been any of us.
Was that oil?
Yeah.
Murphy was oil?
Oh, yeah, Murphy oil. Lead timber.
It looks like oil's going to do pretty good in the Thunderdome, too.
Yeah, it's going to be good for a long time.
Yeah.
Till Biden leaves, it's going to be high.
I agree. This person said, I found the last video so helpful, I wish I had a question, but I would just want to hear whatever he wants to talk about. He wants to tell you about Jesus.
Well, that's right. I'll tell you what. Over Numbers, about 20 years ago, this is a blessing that's been forgotten for thousands of years. God told Moses that I want to bless the children of Israel on this wise. Well, I only heard about this 20 years ago. John Hagee, minister from, anyway, he would bless the congregation after every message. But God said, I want to bless the Israelites. And we could claim that blessing too. He said, may the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord's face shine upon you. May the Lord be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance and give you peace. And God said, I will bless them and I'll write my name upon them. And I speak blessings over this viewers here. May God, Lord, bless you and keep you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Yeah.